Hallo meine lieben Freunde, was geht ab, was muss, guten Abend, guten Tag. Es ist dein YouTuber James Bray und ich reagiere heute auf what happened to Nazis after World War II. An interesting question, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have had, on this topic. So this is actually off of Nutty History's channel. We're going to be checking this out and reacting to it today. So if you guys are new to the channel, willkommen. If you guys are returning viewers, willkommen zurück. We post videos every single day oder jeden Tag. All I ask is that you guys abonniert diesen Kanal und like the video bitte. Vielen lieben Dank für eure Unterstützung. Das bedeutet mir viel. Basically, for those people that are speaking plain English, basically just said subscribe to the channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning viewers, welcome back. All that good stuff. Post videos every single day. All that good stuff. And subscribe. Okay, that's the most subscriber. Let's go ahead and check this out, man. I'm very curious to see what twists and turns are going to be in this video. Los kids.
How did a hate group that ran an entire country seemingly disappear into thin air?
Pretty much. I mean, well, I have a couple of stipulations, or I guess suspicions, I should say. But I'll let them do their thing.
Spoiler alert, they didn't. While World War II
they just got moved.
Has fascinated historians and the public alike since 1945, what happened to the perpetrators of one of the greatest evils of all time is less often discussed.
Jeez.
Today on Nutty History, we're examining the hard truth about what happened to the Nazis after World War II.
Jesus. This is pretty sure we have like a faction out here in the US. They probably got like scattered worldwide.
After the Allied victory in World War II, Germany was divided into zones of occupation between the US, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. The Allies adopted various policies.
The editing is on point. It is on point. What?
Under the general plan of denazification. Denazification was a plan implemented to rid German and Austrian society from Nazi.
That was a thing? Denazification? That was an actual thing? Jesus, that's insane. I mean, the fact that that even happened to begin with is wild, but that is just wow. I didn't know that's what they called it. Like, I thought it would be like I don't know what they would have called it, like regentrification or something like. I don't know.
Power and influence. Life for detained Nazis was not equal depending on the zone they lived in. The Soviet internment camps had the poorest conditions. This prompted many to attempt to relocate to one of the Western zones under the guise of anti-communist sentiment.
My, have the turns tabled. Internment camps for ex-Nazis, or actually for Nazis. That's insane. Kind of ironic. It's very ironic, actually. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's something I didn't even learn about in school. Like, wow. That's weird. That's really weird.
Of the most Western zones,
like, it's weird that they didn't teach me this in school. Like, it's wild.
Occupied Germany was the most lenient area. In their view, Germany as a whole was responsible for the war, and they put less importance on classifying between Nazis and non-Nazis. In the 5 years following the war, about 400...
Bro, this editing is on point. Yo, this is like some TV station type stuff. What?
1,000 Germans were detained in internment camps while awaiting possible penalties. This sounds like a lot at first, but when you consider that up to 45 million Germans at the time were either members or supporters of the Nazi Party, something doesn't add up.
True that. I'm pretty sure like a lot of people renounced that and were able to just live. Like, I mean, because think about it. Like, do you think all 45 million people got put in internment camps and stuff? I highly doubt it. Like, I feel like people just switched back. They're like, well, I'm just kidding. It was all a joke. But I also feel like, well, people were telling me that a lot of people who were Nazis were forced to become Nazis. So there were a large chunk of people that were forced to join. It was like join or, you won't have a life. Or people who willingly joined and stuff like that. So I wonder how this is going to go.
The problem with denazification was one of sheer magnitude. There were simply too many Germans involved to process who had done what. Imagine an entire country in line at the DMV. That's the kind of bureaucratic sluggishness we're talking about.
Jeez, man.
Another issue was rebuilding Germany's economy. According to denazification rules, offenders were to be removed from higher-ranking jobs and
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. That's smart. That's actually really smart. That's why don't we do that here? Jeez. Oh my gosh. We gotta. I feel like America could learn from this.
forced to do manual labor. But if every Nazi and Nazi sympathizer was held responsible, there literally wouldn't be enough skilled workers for a functioning society. In the British zone, for instance,
Well, that means you got some open jobs for some foreigners. Because, man.
it was found that 90% of lawyers were Nazis, since they couldn't
90% of lawyers, yo? People representing you? Oh, that's shady. Shady.
very well have a functioning society without any law or order. Britain determined that 50% of the German legal civil services could be staffed by nominal Nazis. Nazis, but not
Bro, they did not. They did not just throw Eric Cartman in here, bro. Oh my god, gee.
Nazis. The French zone encountered a similar problem with teachers. After firing 3/4 of teachers due to Nazi influence, they had to rehire them in order to have an education system. Reconstructing a country while simultaneously trying to categorize and penalize a large number of culpable citizens was far from a simple process.
Literally, I feel like there's literally no rest for people who have done horrible things like that. I don't think anybody goes to sleep at night with a smile on their face knowing that they've done some really messed up stuff. Even people that willingly do this, like they do it, and I know for in the deep depths of their souls they're just tormented, because like you can't think that there's going to be anything positive awaiting you in an afterlife if you believe in that type of stuff. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's crazy. It's so crazy. But that's like, you know, we trailing off into some philosophical talk now, but that's wild, man.
When denazification began, Eisenhower, an army general at the time, estimated the process would take 50 years.
50
But by
years.
1946, the Allied powers had handed over the reins of denazification to Germany. Wait, what?
That's fast.
Yep, Germany was now in charge of enforcing their own punishment.
What? It's like, hey, finish yourself. That's insane. That is insane. So no one was overseeing whether or not this was being taken care of. Like, hey, listen, this is what we want. This is what we expect. We expect this to get done. Boom, and that's it. Like, South
Popular
America.
destination for the worst of the worst Nazis, South America contained many sympathetic dictators at the time who opened their proverbial doors. Up to 9,000 Nazi officials and collaborators are thought to have escaped to South America.
Jesus, what? I did not know that. These are things they didn't tell us about. I mean, I guess they didn't think that they would be significant enough, but that's weird. Like, what?
After the war. While Brazil and Chile had their fair share of exiles, Argentina by far had the most. Juan Perón, the Argentine president, was a pretty big fan of fascism himself, especially after serving as a military attaché in Italy early on in World War II.
Yeah, that is not good.
He also sought to grow his own country's power by recruiting those with particular military and technical expertise. Perón and his government officials worked to create rat lines for Nazi escape.
Rat lines, y'all. They really had this. That's like the opposite of the Underground Railroad. Same thing, but messed up purpose. Like, jeez, man.
The ports in Italy and Spain. He also aided in forging documents for leaving the country. Most of the Nazis made their way down the Pacific using falsified Red Cross passports stamped with Argentine tourist visas. Once they were in Argentina, most Nazis changed their name for a time to go into hiding. But some resumed living under their real names, as it became clear that Argentina would not extradite them back to Germany, even if their identity was discovered.
Argentina, what's going on with y'all, man? What's going on, bro? That's crazy. Honestly, in all seriousness, I didn't know that was a thing. Like that, I did not know that. I'm learning some crazy stuff right now. They never taught me this in school. They never taught me this in school.
Of course, Argentina wasn't the only country to poach Nazis for their own gain. As an arms race began between the United States and the Soviet Union, collecting expert scientists and engineers became a higher priority to the respective governments than punishing crimes against humanity. In 1945, the U.S. had secretly enacted the program Operation Paperclip to take German scientists and engineers back to the mainland, many of them Nazis, essentially as human weapons. Near the end of the war, Germany had realized the need for these skills, and German scientist Werner Ossenberg created a list of identifying names. A Polish lab technician ended up finding the list torn up in a toilet, which eventually made its way from M16 to U.S. intelligence. In addition to wanting these people for their own side, another crucial motivation of Operation Paperclip was preventing the Soviets from gaining their technical expertise.
So, America, go back. I need to rehear. I need to listen to this again. What?
Identifying names. A Polish lab technician ended up finding the list torn up in a toilet, which eventually made its way from M16 to U.S. intelligence.
So U.S. intelligence wound up bringing in Nazis as well. What?
In addition to wanting these people for their own side, another crucial motivation of Operation Paperclip was
I've heard about Operation Paperclip. I didn't know that's what this was.
Preventing the Soviets from gaining their technical expertise. While called an evacuation operation, identified targets were essentially kidnapped and forced to the U.S., where they were held for months at a time for interrogation. Still, many of these literal rocket scientists went on to have incredibly successful careers in the U.S. and were part of the NASA space program.
What? So, what? What was it like having conversations with coworkers? I mean, I'm pretty sure they didn't brag about it because I don't think anybody was literally proud to do anything like that. Well, I can't say anybody because there was a massive group for a reason. But so I guess there were some people that were proud, but that's insane, bro. Also, America is pretty racist, so I'm pretty sure they didn't care about what was going on, like, really. They're looking at how they can benefit us, you know, which is insane, man. That's wild, bro. The world's a sick place. The world's a sick place. Dang. But from what I heard, oh man, there was a lot of, like, you know, innovation, I guess, through those dark times. Really messed up innovation. I've heard that, like, because of those messed up experiments that Nazi scientists would do on people against their will, there were actually crazy advancements in the medical industry. And I mean, it's sad to say, but that kind of helped propel us into where we are now, I guess, with medical advancements and stuff. It's just really messed up, man. It's messed up.
Despite a suspected high level of Nazi involvement among them.
Judgment at Nuremberg. Wow, really?
For the most serious offenders that hadn't managed to escape into hiding, the Nuremberg trials prosecuted Nazis in 1946 for war crimes, crimes against humanity, and wars of aggression. These trials were important for determining international law, specifically when it came to prosecuting war crimes. They were also a crucial step in holding some of the most common criminals responsible for the Holocaust. The first and most well-known trial indicted 24 men, with outcomes ranging from acquittal to 10 years imprisonment to execution.
Jeez.
12 were sentenced to death. While the trials represented justice for some, 12 men receiving capital punishment pales in comparison to the millions that died.
True. Very, very, very true. This was so unfortunate. Very sad. Very, very sad, man.
Holocaust, and the large number of perpetrators that were never held responsible for their actions. Some have criticized the legality of the Nuremberg trials, calling them an example of victor's justice.
Jesus. I feel like, just quick pause. Have y'all noticed that the energy people put in back in the day was just on 10 constantly? Like, it's not just this man right here, but like everybody around this era was just like very like out of their mind, was was that Martha Stewart a thing back then? That's that snow powder. Were they sniffing some snow? Because it looked like it. This man is definitely riled up, and I don't think I've seen any adult that riled up unless they're on something. Definitely. I did hear that snow was definitely a very popular thing back in the day, so that's probably why everybody acted like that.
And judicially invalid. Other criticisms have pointed to a hypocrisy of allied nations prosecuting crimes against humanity after their own various wartime actions.
Germany got back to business.
After the Allied powers gave up their denazification efforts after only a few months, Germany was tasked with the challenge, though they were still occupied by Allied countries. Unsurprisingly, Germany adopted a looser set of rules when it came to identifying and punishing Nazis. Anyone born after 1919 was considered brainwashed.
Bruh. Really? Brainwashed? Jesus, my guy. This is getting crazy, bro.
And exempt from punishment.
Exempt from punishment. Exempt from punishment. If you were born after 1919, you were considered brainwashed. Well, because I guess that would make them really young. But still, that doesn't excuse all the messed up stuff you did. Like, what? That's sad, man. That's so sad. And people watching this that have had, like, relatives, like, lose their lives over other people that were involved in this, man. Like, that's sad, man.
Of the public officials that the U.S. had removed from office, 75% were reinstated. And to avoid getting bogged down by the lengthy and pesky business of trials, 90% of Nazis were classified as lesser offenders. By 1948, the Cold War had become a greater concern for the U.S.
True that. Cold War was definitely not a vibe.
And any remaining cases were sped through with proceedings.
This guy must have been an icon. This guy looks like he was the one. Like, the dude was like, das ist alles. Like, that guy is not playing no games, bro.
That were legally sketchy at best. By 1951, denazification ended, and emphasis shifted toward paying reparations to victims and their families. From pardons and amnesties enacted by the German government, nearly 800,000 people were freed from any punishment or penalty.
800,000 people went unpunished. Imagine that, man. That's crazy.
So, was Germany finally denazified? At the German Ministry of Justice at the time, 77% of senior officials were former Nazis.
70. That sounds like the U.S. government, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. Nazi hunters track down fugitives. Hey, okay, all right.
Post-war, some of the most notorious Nazis managed to go into hiding and later escape Germany. While some lived entire lives getting away with mass murder, other big names were captured by Nazi hunters who popped up to deliver justice.
Ah, this is a show. This is an actual show. Like, literally, like, this is an actual show. I didn't know that this was an actual thing, though. That's crazy.
To war criminals who were living anonymously. Adolf Eichmann, the mastermind behind Hitler's Final Solution and network of concentration camps, fled to Buenos Aires, where he worked in a Mercedes-Benz automotive plant and lived with his wife and 4 children. It wasn't until 1960 that Eichmann was captured by Israeli agents, drugging him and flying him out of Argentina, disguised as an Israeli airline worker who'd suffered a head trauma. Despite protests for his return from Argentina, Eichmann was later tried and executed.
Hey, man, if you gotta reap what you sow, Big Pimpin'. You know what they say. When you mess up like that, it is what it is. You let the justice system handle that. People are not playing around. But I'm telling you, if you're doing some grimy stuff, it will catch up to you in one way or another in the future, bro. If you're on that griminess, man, it will catch up, man.
Israel. Not all Nazi hunters were government operatives, however.
Some people were regular people.
Wiesenthal, a Holocaust survivor turned Nazi hunter, tracked down Franz Steingl in Sao Paulo.
Oh, wow.
Steingl was held responsible for the Action T4 euthanasia program that killed those with mental and physical disabilities. After Wiesenthal discovered him, Stengel was extradited to West Germany and sentenced to life imprisonment.
Jeez. Bro, these edits is insane. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, these edits are crazy.
As late as 2019 in the United States, Yaki Pauli was deported from the country at 95 years old. An historian at the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum discovered that Pauli had served as a guard at a forced labor camp during the war, rather than working on his father's farm, as he claimed in 1949. It's an unfortunate truth that not all Nazis were held accountable for their crimes.
Yeah, it's messed up, man. Like I said, you got to reap what you sow. That's just straight up what it is, man.
Hunting has since died down, as most people alive during World War II,
they're tote. They're gone. They're out here. Most of them are like in their 90s. Maybe the youngest might be like mid 80s, low 80s, but they're pretty much gone. Well, this is insane. I learned a whole lot. You guys let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. I'm gonna be reading them, so I'll be teaching me a lot of stuff, man. I'm not gonna hold you, but like, comment, subscribe. You guys are into the vibes. I'm gonna see you guys later. Bis später. Ich liebe euch. Ciao. Well, what a pleasure it is to see all of your beautiful faces at the end of this lovely video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sure you know, as I've mentioned in the past, we do have a Discord that's linked in the description down below, and we would love to have you a part of the world's greatest community ever, Bray Gang. Yes, if you've made it to this point in the video, you're officially a part of the community. So go ahead, join the Discord server. Link is in the description down below. And we also have other social media as well, like Instagram, Twitter. We're live. We go live on Twitch quite often as well. So it would behoove you to, go ahead and subscribe to the Twitch channel at twitch.tv/JamesBrayGang. Join the cause and be a part of the greatest, literally the greatest community ever. Okay, it's simple. Just go ahead and do those little things. We're trying to grow on all these little platforms and everything, and it really means a lot. Now, I know you guys stumbled up across the channel and you're like, what does this guy post? Like, what kind of content does he post? Reactions, vlogs, pretty much whatever comes to my mind. All right, it's random content. I don't know what I'm gonna be posting 10 years from now, but I do know that you can stick along for the journey, and it really means a lot. Now, for every single person that subscribes and follows all of the accounts that I have made, and all the links will be in the description down below, that's an automatic entry for any future giveaways I decide to have. I'll remind you when the giveaways take place, but you'll be surprised what I will be giving away because you guys have supported me so much up to this point, and it's only right that I do the same thing back. Thank you guys so much for being amazing, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Peace.